It is Wednesday, November 19th, 2025, and this is Armchair Analysis. Welcome in. Hope you guys are having a good week so far. I hope you guys enjoyed yesterday's video. Missouri and Oklahoma preview. My top 25 dropped. We talked about James Franklin and expectations maybe for him at Virginia Tech. Pretty excited for today's episode. Nothing too crazy. Hang on. Callie. Hey, Callie. Every day. Um, We got college football playoff rankings to drop. We've got a USC Oregon game preview that we're going to talk about. We got all kinds of stuff here on today's episode. So make sure you stick around. Make sure you leave a like, subscribe if you are new. Follow along on this journey of college football that we all love so much. Welcome in again to Armchair Analysis. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you all for spending your time here. I'm not going to waste your time. Let's go ahead and get into today's subjects, and we'll go ahead and start with the college football playoff rankings. Yesterday, we saw the rankings released, and I'd say they did pretty well. I haven't have yet to really have a overall complaint about the college football playoff rankings. I think they've done a good job. I think the metrics have certainly added some consistency to it, at least. Whether we agree with them or not, that's one thing, right? But at least there's consistency. We see the things that matter, I think, to an extent to the college football playoff committee. Some of that's just big wins. Some of that's not losing games you shouldn't lose. And we're seeing the teams that are being, I think, boosted by their strength of schedule. I think there's teams that are being kind of hurt by their strength of schedule and even more specifically strength of record at times. Pretty excited for what this playoff could look like. So with that said, let's go ahead and talk about it. The top three remain unchanged. Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M. Not even surprised that that's what it should be. There are three unbeaten teams remaining. No need for that to look any different. Oklahoma jumps up 3 spots to number 8 ahead of Notre Dame at 9 and Alabama at 10. I was intrigued by this. I thought Notre Dame would probably be the top team of the two losses. But Oklahoma jumps up, and I think it's by way of this win. I've talked about it yesterday. I think they're getting overinflated. I think it's going to come back down to earth. I think we're going to see an immediate change in that this weekend. But Oklahoma certainly kept their playoff hopes alive, kept themselves in the picture, and really inserted themselves into the picture with the win last Saturday night. BYU and Utah are the first two teams out. It's as I would have it, as I believe it should be going forward. Miami is the highest ACC team still. They are still not in the conference championship picture at the moment, but they are the highest ranked team in the ACC. They still need a little bit of help. SMU, Pitt, losses. Virginia and Georgia Tech. Three of those four teams they need to lose. Miami would hold a tiebreaker of everybody but SMU. They need SMU to lose out. To make it, they need to win their game against Pitt and let the chips fall where they may on that one. So Miami's still the highest rated SEC team. Tulane gets the highest Group of 5 nod, and they're the first Group of 5 team to be ranked. Actually, that's not true. USF was ranked last week, but Tulane is the highest G5 team this week. No JMU to be seen. No North Texas to be seen. I understand why this is the case, of course. Tulane's got 2 Power 4 wins at Northwestern, which looked good last week. It looks better as time goes on. Northwestern pushing to be a bowl team. And then, of course, their win over Duke, who is likely to be a bowl team as well. This Tulane, I'm okay with them being the highest rated team. I'm not surprised by it. I think I would like to see James Madison be there, but I'm not going to argue it too much. I certainly get it. North Texas is a team that doesn't have the strength of schedule, and I think that that's part of their issue. The strength of schedule, strength of record doesn't really play in here, and that's why they are where they're at. All they got to do is win the conference title, though, and they're currently all but locked to make that trip. I think they actually would host it as of right now, if I'm not mistaken, with their win over Navy, but I could be mistaken there. There's a 4-way tie for first in the American. We'll have to dig into that later. 4 teams dropped out last week. Illinois, Missouri. Sorry, those are the teams that are in. Louisville, Iowa, Pitt, USF, and Clemson. Sorry, 5 teams dropped out last week. Those 5 make their way into or open the door for 5 more. 21 Illinois, 22 Missouri, 23 Houston, 24 Tulane, and 25 Arizona State. That is your college football playoff rankings. I'm not going to go over the bracket. I particularly don't really care that much about it at this time. It's all going to play itself out here once the regular season ends. So looking forward to seeing what we get out of that. With that said, I got a game preview for you guys, and I didn't get it changed, so let's go ahead and get that fixed real quick. Some things just happen, I get lost in the shuffle. A busy day. USC goes on the road to face Oregon today, not today, Saturday at 3:30 p.m. Eastern. That's a CBS game for Big Ten. Game day is going to be there. Very, very excited to see what this game brings to the table. I think USC and Oregon are both two teams with some serious aspirations for college football playoff. I don't know if they're national championship contenders, but I certainly think they can maybe be a bit dangerous in the playoff. Here's what I've come up with over the course of researching for this game. It's strength versus strength when it comes to USC's offense versus the Oregon defense. Here's why I say exactly what I'm saying. USC has the number 10 ranked passing offense in college football. Oregon has the number 1 ranked passing defense in college football. It's a good start. USC has the 28th ranked rushing offense, and the number 13th in way of yards per carry, averaging 5.6 per carry, versus Oregon's 21st ranked rushing defense by yards per game, ranked 16th in yards per carry, allowing 3.2 yards per attempt. These two teams have a serious chess match, I think, that's going to go on over the course of this game. The USC offense versus the Oregon defense. That is going to play a factor in how this game goes. I think that we need to clearly understand that. And obviously, offense versus defense, it always plays a factor, right? But understand that this is quite literally as close to even as it gets when you look at USC's offense facing the Oregon defense. There's not many matchups that are going to be better than this one. When you look at the other side, USC doesn't particularly do anything overly great. They have a decent passing defense. Their rush defense, I think, ranks in the 60s, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I looked at it just a little bit ago. I can see if I have it here. Still rushing defense. USC at 145 ranks 63rd in college football. This Oregon offense has really ran the ball well, and I think they're going to continue to try to run the ball going forward because of their obviously missing DeCorian Moore and Gary Bryant. Now, that's not confirmed, but they did not play last week. Both of them missed significant time of the Iowa game. DeCorian Moore didn't play at all against Iowa. Gary Bryant went down with that injury in the first quarter, with which he has not returned from. It's going to be a big question mark because part of it is USC. This is kind of one of those tests for this USC defense of we've seen them act in the trenches. We have not quite seen how much they are truly improved out in the perimeter and out in space. Oregon's going to utilize that to their advantage. I think Will Stein's one of the best play callers in the country. There's a reason he's being looked at as a head coaching candidate for a lot of these jobs. The biggest thing with Will Stein in this Oregon offense is they're going to continue to try to utilize space, which is then going to open up the run game through RPO, through just basic screen passes that extend the run game, however you want to look at it. Whether Gary Bryant, DeCorian Moore are on the field or not, they're still going to go that direction. They're going to use Kenyon Sadiq a lot in space. They're going to try to get him in one-on-one situations. USC is going to have to still defend a lot when they face this Oregon offense. Can they do it? Can they tackle in space? Can they slow down this Oregon offense enough to let their offense get into a rhythm themselves? Because I don't think they're just going to come out and go score points. I don't think we're going to watch USC come out here and score on their first possession. They may not score on their first 3 possessions. And if they don't, will they hold Oregon below 10? That's kind of the question mark that I have in my mind as we look at this game. Again, my biggest thing is I don't think USC can win a shootout. I just think this Oregon defense will eventually step up, and I think they'll step up from the beginning. USC will catch a little bit of momentum, and then Oregon's defense steps back up and adjusts, gets there at the end of the game. Can USC win a shootout in this game? I don't think the answer is yes. I just don't simply see it. I think Oregon's more likely to go and score on multiple consecutive possessions versus USC. USC is going to have to rely on these defensive fundamentals that Dan Lynn has brought in, has instilled in this team, has really created a different mentality defensively for this USC defense. If they're going to win this game, it's going to come down to them making stops. If they're going to win this game, it's going to come down to this game being ugly the same way it was last week. And I don't know that USC can win a particularly ugly game. I just don't think that's going to happen. Everything I say, this kind of just points to Oregon winning the game, and it really does in the fact that you look at this Oregon rushing attack. 3 running backs have over 7 yards per carry, and all 3 of those running backs have 40 carries or more on the season. 4 of those running backs have 5+ yards per carry. All 4 of those running backs have over 40 carries this season. The offensive line is moving people. Can USC push back? Can they win their matchups on line of scrimmage? If so, the game stays close. They're going to stack the box a little bit. They're going to play the run, especially without Bryant and Moore. If Gary Bryant and DeCorey Moore are in this game, I think Oregon's going to win. I think they're going to kind of walk away in this game. I don't particularly see it being close at all. There are paths for USC to win this game. They're few and far between. Some of it relies on turnover luck. Some of it relies on them being better than we think they are. All the work they've done, not quite for naught, but it's just all the work they've done, they're still that far behind, I think, some of the most physical teams in the conference, some of the most physical teams in the country. This is going to be one of those situations where I just think that Oregon comes in and takes care of their business. I am very excited to see this game. I think it's going to be fun to watch. I think it's going to be a game of, again, matchups and seeing where USC can actually find ways to win. They have 2 of the best receivers in the country. They can certainly win at times. Can they consistently win? If so, it would be a surprise. I would be happy to see it. And the over hits. If they don't, then I think the under hits. I don't see. I'd see the first team to 30. If a team hits 30 to win, anybody above 25, I think, wins this game. With that said, Oregon favored by 9.5. The over/under sits at 59.5. I'm taking Oregon to win this game, 31-20. And that is my prediction. I just think the overall physicality of this Oregon offense will be able to push them through possessions. They're going to take time. They're going to control time of possession, and really just do what they wish in this game. So, with that said, let me know what you guys think. I'm, again, very excited to hear your guys' thoughts on that one. We have another game to preview later this week, tomorrow, as a matter of fact. I don't believe we're going to be in the Power 4 tomorrow. I just gotta say, I don't think that's going to be the case. We have my options between Pitt and Georgia Tech, BYU, Cincinnati, TCU at Houston. Those are fun. But the one I'm looking at, and the one that I believe we are going to be previewing here tomorrow, is a game between Hawaii and UNLV. That game will officially eliminate a team from Mountain West Conference title contention. There are 5 teams with a 4-2 record in this conference. All 5 of them sit behind San Diego State, who I believe can clinch this weekend, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but it's possible. San Diego State holds a tiebreaker over everybody but Hawaii, if I'm not mistaken, in the conference, and that is, in fact, correct. So with that, I'm thinking that's what we're going to do, get UNLV Hawaii, because that could be an elimination game for the conference. New Mexico has a pretty big game this week themselves, if I'm not mistaken. It's Air Force, but they do play San Diego State at the end of the year. We have Boise State playing Colorado State, and then Utah State to close their year out. Fresno State has Utah State and San Jose State to close their season. So there's still room for upsets. The Mountain West has been kind of crazy this year. So we're going to preview Hawaii and UNLV, I think, tomorrow. Now, I could change my mind. Don't guarantee anything. I'm not promising anything. I'm not promising a G5 preview tomorrow, but I am saying that I'm going to try my best to make that makes the most sense I can. If not, we'll find a different one. Could be, if you look at the Big 12, Houston isn't quite out of the playoff or the conference championship conversation yet. They have TCU and Baylor remaining, so 2 games that they should be favored in. Pitt and Georgia Tech. I think we're gonna do Pitt Georgia Tech tomorrow. I think that's what we're gonna do. That's an ACC title game clincher potentially. So that's the one we're gonna do. So appreciate y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all so much. Again, if you're new around here, please like and subscribe. Comment down below. Let us know your thoughts as always. And really excited to bring another video to you tomorrow. Don't forget Friday's Take 10. That's our betting preview that I do every single week. We've been on a bit of a heater lately, and I'm hoping to get even further onto that tonight with a little bit of a parlay I've got on Maction. Why would I do that to myself? I don't know, but very excited for that. We'll get a weekday recap in at some point, probably tomorrow. We'll recap all the Maction games and lead that forward. Akron finished 5-7 in a year that meant nothing to them. They still came out and performed and exceeded expectations. So, impressed with them. We'll talk more about that again tomorrow. Thank y'all so much for tuning in again. Hope y'all have a great rest of your day. And we'll see you tomorrow with another episode of Armchair Analysis.